Alright guys, American Trucker coming to you with another quick topic. UFC 279. That's what we're talking about. Khamzat versus Nate Diaz. Who do you have winning that one? That's an interesting fight. Now, the odds maker in Vegas makes a lot of money, millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars a year, off being right more times than not. And they're highly in favor of Khamzat over Nate Diaz. But one thing I've learned to never do, I'm not a betting man, and I don't bet on fights, but I would never bet against Nate Diaz. Never. Just when you think, I mean, the Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz won is a perfect example of when you can never count Nate Diaz out. Now, his record ain't the greatest in the world, but his will to win is second to none. I mean, you can't count Nate Diaz out of any fight. I don't care how bad it is. He just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. So that's my thought on him. Khamzat, he's the new upcoming, I got it, rising star. He's been kind of blowing through people. But the very first real test that he had, Gilbert Burns, if you watch that fight, which was Khamzat's last fight, he wasn't blowing through Gilbert Burns like he did the rest of those guys. I mean, he was a couple times one shot away from losing, right? So it was a pretty good match. So I'm not taking away anything against Khamzat, not taking nothing away from him. I mean, he's good, but the first time he fought a top 5 ranked opponent, he was really tested. He didn't seem near as good as he did against the other guys that he was been blown through before that. Now, if he wins this, right, the question is, does he deserve a title shot? I believe the UFC will give him a title shot if he wins this. Do I think him beating Nate Diaz and Gilbert Burns no longer than he's been fighting in the UFC warrants him a title shot if he beats Nate Diaz this next time? I don't think so. I think some people, I think he skipped a struggle, right? So I don't think I think he skipped a struggle, right? I mean, you kind of talk about Paddy Pimblett and the same thing, and I might do another video on him, but I'm talking about Khamzat right now and Nate Diaz, but I'm not sure if Khamzat's proven himself. I'm not sure how you can fight somebody like Gilbert Burns with Gilbert Burns' ranking and then turn around and fight someone like Nate Diaz, which is lower in the ranking scale, higher in the popularity, and the big draw for the big name, but lower in the ranking scale, and somehow that deserves a title shot. I don't know about that. It just seems like to me that if you fight a top 5 ranked opponent and beat him, you should be fighting the top number 3 guy or number 2 guy, right? Or something like that, and then a title shot. If you haven't been in the UFC very long, which Khamzat has not, and fought a lot of people, much less high-ranking people. So, I got it. People don't want to see the same people, especially in that division. It's kind of stacked. The same people fighting for the title more than once, twice. You know, they want someone new in there, fresh face. But I just think Khamzat hasn't quite. I think he's kind of skipped the struggle, skipped the, you know, working my way up to deserving a full title shot. I don't know. Some people probably disagree with me. If you disagree with me, by all means, leave a comment in the section below. Put a comment down there and let me know what you think, you know, and why you think what you think. Or if you agree, you know, put that in the comments as well. But don't sleep on Nate Diaz. I'm telling you, don't sleep on Nate Diaz. He gets in those grooves and he gets in those modes, right? If he can get Khamzat through the first round, the second round, I think they said this is going to be a 5-round non-title fight. I'm not sure on that. I hope it is. I hope it is, because I've seen Khamzat get a little tired against Gilbert Burns in the later rounds, if you watch that fight. And Nate Diaz, as you know, his cardio goes for days. And if his cardio starts to run low, his will take over, right? And he does not play around when it comes to that. So I would love to see Nate Diaz win this fight just for the fact that it's the last fight on Nate Diaz's contract, and kind of see what happens at that point. Even though I think Nate Diaz is wanting to leave the UFC or make a big statement on his last fight, and then up the numbers on, you know, a little more money on the contract going forward. You know, some of his fights going forward. But I think he's really wanting to leave the UFC and has some other interest in, you know, going on there as far as other leagues. But I would like to see Nate Diaz win this one. I think he has a chance. I think he has a better chance than what Vegas odd makers are giving him. So, and I believe once it gets closer to the fight, I think these odds makers, you know, I think they're going to start shrinking as far as giving Nate Diaz a little bit better chance. But I'm telling you right now, if if Nate Diaz makes it out of the second round and he doesn't get knocked out, which I don't know if Nate Diaz has ever been knocked out. I don't think he has. But if he has, it ain't been more than once. But anyways, if Nate Diaz makes it through the second round without getting knocked out, and he can get halfway through the third round, I think the tide will start turning. And if Nate Diaz gets him on the ground, you may see some of that as jiu-jitsu come into play. And I think that's how he wins. I think he wears him down. I'm gonna go with Nate Diaz, right? I wouldn't bet on it either way because I don't bet, like I said. But if I were gonna bet, I would go ahead and take the odds, right? Bet a little bit of money, try to win a lot. But I would go on Nate Diaz, and I would say he wears him down. If he gets halfway through the third round, through the second round, I think Khamzat starts to wilt. I think Nate Diaz's will, determination that he already has, and then the fact that this is his last fight on his contract, I think he's going to go all out. And I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win by submission. I'm going to call it late in the fourth round, early in the fifth round by submission, Nate Diaz. So that's my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think. There's some other interesting fights coming up, but to me that's the most interesting one in the near future. So yeah, tell me what you guys think. Leave a comment below. Hey, real quick though, Paddy Pimblett, what do y'all think about him? He's a new rising star. He's a big draw, big crowd, right? He got that goofy haircut, which now he endorses, right? He even said he thought about, I don't think he said it, but I think somebody asked him, you know, about cutting his hair, and then he's understood that real quick, that that's kind of become a trademark. It's weird, I got it, it's kind of goofy, but people look for stuff like that. People look for different, unusual. He has a little bit of a Conor McGregor vibe, and I say that from the fact that he's definitely not as big of a star, and he hasn't blown through people like Conor McGregor did, but he keeps finding a way to win, right? And future champions, if you go back and look at a lot of their earlier fights, even when it looks like they ain't doing so well and they're just getting started in the UFC, they find a way to win, right? You'll see those guys that look like earlier on in their careers that they were kind of down and out a little bit on a couple of their first few fights, but they found a way to win regardless. And then what Paddy Pimblett needs, in my opinion, is he needs experience, right? I think he needs to continue fighting non-ranked opponents, at least a couple more anyways. And I think experience will start to play. And he's good. I don't know how. I don't know him, so I can't say he doesn't take it serious, but he balloons up 30, 40, 50 pounds, I think, from his weigh-in fights. So that's hard on your body, right? It's hard to cut down. So I think if he gets a few more wins on his belt, I'm hoping he'll start taking, in my opinion, a little bit more serious. Start to realize there's a lot more on the line if he starts making his way into the top 10, starts getting, ranked. And then I'm hoping that he'll start having better either coaches that stay on him and or self-discipline, and he starts keeping his weight down where it's not so hard on him between fights to go up that much, and then cut weight back down before a fight, because that takes its toll on you. So he's an exciting fighter. He's cocky and confident, but if you talk the talk and if you keep walking the walk, then I think you can talk the talk all you want, right? A lot of people, they mouth off a lot and then they don't perform. Again, Conor McGregor was one that early on in his career, I didn't really care for him too much because he just talked so much smack. And then I doubted him so many times, you know, when his next opponent came up, I thought this is the guy that's finally going to shut him up, he's going to beat him. But he earned my respect, right? He still talked a little too much trash in some cases, but he earned my respect as far as he talked the big talk, but he backed it up every single time, all the way up to the championship. So Paddy Pimblett kind of reminds me a little bit of an early Conor McGregor, just not as dynamic, not as explosive, and his wins so far aren't as dominant as Conor McGregor's was. Which Conor McGregor might be a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon, you know, that's hard to duplicate that. But anyways, that's my thoughts on Paddy Pimblett. That's my thoughts on Khamzat and Nate Diaz. I'm saying Nate Diaz by submission in late in round 4 or early in round 5. I think he's going to wear Khamzat out. But please, don't put money on it based on what I'm saying, by no means. I mean, Khamzat is, as of right now, he's expected to dominate Nate Diaz. Nobody's really giving him a chance. I just hope Nate Diaz can weather the storm in the first and second round, and I think things will start changing after that. So that's my thoughts. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Leave a comment on what you think on either one of these. If you're a UFC fan, you know, leave a comment on Paddy Pimblett, Khamzat, Nate Diaz, any of those three, and kind of go from there. Like or dislike, share my video with other UFC fans if you guys don't care, and then I'd kind of like to have a little conversation, hear some thoughts of what you guys think. All right, American Trucker, you know my motto: you don't quit when you're tired, you stop when you're finished. Sorry about the lighting, I know it's a little bit dark, but all right, I'm out.